Forever in my mind and memory. I'm thinking about how people fall in love in mysterious ways. And maybe it's all part of a plan. I'll just keep on making mistakes.
People, January the 1st, 2021. Welcome to the Act 2 podcast. I am your humble, gracious host, Walt. And I'm just going to look back today at this year. You know, how it was for a lot of people, how it wasn't for a lot of people, what people went through. Just the whole year in review. And I'm going to do that today with a very special person. This person been in my life for 20 years, 21 years. She's my best friend. She's the anchor to my life. She's my support system. She's everything I need when I get up in the morning. Tash Deas.
Ew. I need like some intro music.
Sure,
Right?
yeah.
She's a Brit. Ew. Huh? Okay, maybe not.
All right, so this is my baby. Say hi.
Hi.
Say hi to the people. Hey,
Hi,
what's
people.
up?
Hey, what's up? Hey, husband.
Hey, what's up? So this is the Act 2 podcast, and this is just a podcast about everything under the sun, life, ups, downs, all topics, just everything. So just want to get right into it. 2020, starting off posing the question at you. What was that? What was the beginning of the year like for you?
Normal. The beginning was normal. I mean, what we used to know as normal came in. Actually, no. The beginning of the year was freaking awesome.
What you mean by that?
A little tired. Didn't have sleep yet last night.
No, I'm just saying what you mean by that.
Well, it started off with, we had our normal tradition, or our tradition that we had for the last few years with the family. So we spent New Year's in the Poconos. So literally from the beginning, it started off great. January birthday rolled around. We were in New York City, one of our favorite places. That was amazing. We went to, I forget the chain of events and the dates, but we went to the Oprah conference and saw Oprah and Michelle Obama. It was literally all day, 9 to 4, like a school day. We took a nap.
I wouldn't do that again.
But we saw Oprah
And Michelle
Obama.
But
that was
goddamn,
amazing.
8 hours.
I guess we thought it was a show and didn't realize it was a conference. And in the conference, it was conference stuff like learning tools, teaching, exercise, a little bit of everything. Just more than what we bargained for, but it was a good experience to say we saw Oprah
And Michelle Obama.
Can't forget Michelle Obama. And Michelle Obama and I have the same birthday, so that was good. And Michelle Obama and Barack are a Capricorn Leo duo.
Like we are.
So I love that.
Excuse me.
Following that, I saw Sarah Jakes Roberts. She's amazing.
You did go to a concert to see Sarah Jakes Roberts.
Yeah, she's amazing. She was amazing.
She ain't better than Tasha Combs.
She's not a singer,
I know.
so it's no comparison.
My bad.
Yeah, she's a pastor. So yeah, no comparison. And it's Tasha Cobbs, not Tasha Combs.
Yeah.
She's not related to Puffy, but yeah.
I fucked that all up.
Yeah. And you're cursing and we're talking about gospel.
God on my heart.
But yeah, so
we just gonna be honest on here.
yeah, we live our truths. But yeah, so Sarah Jakes Roberts, she was amazing. I would go every single time to see her. And to be honest, that wasn't what I expected. In some ways, it was more and better than what I expected. I would go. I went with a group of friends, and my sister and her friend also. Well, our friend also went too, but I would go to see her by myself. That was one of those things where you really didn't even need a crowd. Like, just in the spirit, in the moment, being there was amazing.
So, was she like a motivational speaker?
She's a pastor, and I mean, I guess aren't all preachers motivational speakers in some way?
No, some of them be in the pulpit on some bullshit.
Well, she's a motivational speaker. She's a pastor. She's awesome.
So she gave a sermon. That's what it was.
Yeah, she gave a sermon. I will be honest. I wanted a little more from her, but I mean, it's only but so much you can do in the time for. I think it was an hour, maybe a 2-hour show. It was somebody else with her, and I cannot think of the other lady's name, Dr. Anita something. So they tie in that motivational speaking, but my problem with some pastors are that they are only motivational speakers and they don't implement the Bible part in it. Like, I can get up and give a good motivational speaker too, but if it's Bible based, then I want some Bible to teach me, help me learn. And that's what she does in an awesome way. She's a motivational speaker, but she's a pastor, so she ties the two, and she's amazing. She has a lot of things on YouTube. Actually, you never really watched her with me, but I think you would enjoy it. But I know you a little, it don't take much to put you off from speakers, but I think you would enjoy it. Anyway, after that, also, and this was like kind of the last hurrah of, the beginning of the year before it turned into what it turned into. So went to Wendy Williams for Sierra's birthday, and we were literally there February 27th, which we know 2 weeks later, come March,
not even March 27th, March 16th was the show.
Yeah, so we were there so close to the time frame, that's kind of scary, because I don't even know if we knew about COVID at that time. Maybe we had like hints of it. I'm sure we probably didn't know, because you would have been completely against me going had it been known that
in New York that it was COVID.
Yeah, that it was what it was.
Hell
so
yeah.
You would have been. So I don't think we knew about. Wait, pause, rewind, and I skipped something. We saw Jill Scott.
Oh yeah, we did in Atlantic City.
Yes, that was amazing.
She was dope. Jill Scott is dope as hell.
She was awesome. She gave a great show. So again, we saw Oprah, Michelle Obama. We saw Jill Scott. I saw Sarah Jakes Roberts. Saw Wendy. Came home, and womp womp womp. That was the first.
The first shoe to drop for me in the beginning of the year was Kobe. When Kobe died, that was like, I don't know. It's still even today to talk about it. Like he just was. I don't know. I just seen all his basketball games, seen his whole career, and for a dude like that to die around my age, it instantly made me start thinking about my own mortality and how long I got and how long you got, and you just thought you was going to see a guy like that around till he was 80 years old, and then for him to go like he did with his kid, that was just a shoe drop and the start of it all. The first bad part of the year. Then March comes around and boom, COVID-19. What was that like for you? What happened?
So I think it's a weird dynamic, because, and this just hit me, something that I didn't think about before, something that you said about Kobe, and then it ties into what happened with COVID-19, and that so many people lost their lives. So we know, on the same day that Kobe died, I found out that my grandmama had died. And it's like Kobe's death was so impactful on the world. It was so huge.
Your grandma on your pop's side, just to be clear.
Yeah. But it was so huge, Kobe passing away. And, with my grandma dying, her small circle of family, it impacted them in a major way, which when you think about how COVID impacted the world, it's like so many families were impacted by it. And I hate to even complain about it because neither one of us, it didn't impact our jobs. You were, I don't know if you want to call it lucky or not, but you were lucky enough to be able to be home for 6 weeks chilling. Paid, you know, being safe, you know, making sure that you were okay and you were healthy. Me, on the other hand, I guess, you know, even though it would eventually would have happened, I transitioned to work from home sooner than I would have, since I would have been working from home anyway. But I never missed a beat. Like, I still was at work, even though from home every day. Yeah, so again, our jobs weren't impacted. Luckily, we didn't get sick. No one that was close to us passed away or became, like, you know, severely ill where it changed their lives. So for us personally, the impact was social stuff. You know, we couldn't go on dates like we like. We couldn't
go outside the way we wanted to.
Right. But then at the same time, we had some amazing moments in that period. I know, but just saying, like, for me personally, I feel selfish in saying or complaining about it, because when I look back on it, like, we were blessed. You know, we were blessed. We didn't have any negative impacts by it. We still have our jobs. We didn't miss a beat on our bills. Like, we just couldn't go outside. We couldn't go out to dates. We you know, go out to dates and stuff. So I really don't even want to complain about it.
A little bit of cabin fever.
Yeah. But I don't want to complain.
And saying that, transitioning, because for most people, 2020 was a bad year, and we just touched on a few key points that started the year off bad. But for us, if we're living our truths, COVID shutdown was, just to put it out there, 2020 was our best year we ever had in the 20 years we've been together. Our best year. So that's how we feel about 2020. But the start of it was the shutdown. And what happened in the shutdown in the beginning, when we started to take walks.
Yeah,
because that's all we had.
That's all we could do. First of all, the fact that we had a 8 o'clock curfew, we used to be walking at like 7, it's like miles. We gotta hurry up and be back home before 8 o'clock. Like, I don't know what we thought. Did we think like somebody was going to chase us down and be like, get in the house? But we was
being serious about the law and the curfew.
Yeah, being respectful. We walked. First of all, we've been in our house for almost 13 years.
May 1st be 13 years.
And don't be telling too much of our business. But yeah, almost 13 years. But there's parts of our neighborhood. Our neighborhood isn't huge, but there's literally parts that are 2 blocks over that we had never seen. We never drove down these blocks. We had no reason to be in that area, but they were literally right around the corner. And when COVID started, we started walking, and for hours, for miles, we would look up like, we're almost at the highway. We done walked an hour and a half this way. Now we gotta remember, we gotta get back home.
You just was on a 3-hour stroll.
Yes.
Probably walked 15 miles.
But within those walks, we just had some of the most amazing conversation, which is what we've always loved to do anyway. Like, I talk a lot,
but they wasn't always poignant, progressive conversations.
Right.
They wasn't always bad. Or
you mean pre-COVID?
Yeah.
Oh,
pre-COVID.
Right.
Yeah, I'm talking about 2019 BC.
Right. We'd like to talk a lot, but the conversations weren't always as meaningful as they became.
Right.
Did you just say 2019 BC?
Yeah, that's before COVID. 2019 BC. That's when we're going to market it as.
Okay.
When people talk about this in the future, it's going to be 2019 BC, before COVID.
Can we say BC 19 or something? Because then you say BC, I'm thinking before Christ.
But it's not before Christ. You know that. You've been living. You know it ain't before Christ. It's 2019 BC, before COVID. It was only 2 months.
I'll let you be great. Okay. So yeah, the conversations were amazing, just really thought provoking. Hell, we didn't have much to, we couldn't really do much but think.
Mm-hmm.
So in that thinking and talking and walking and just being completely transparent, really, I guess that moment in time made us be introspective about life, and it really made you realize what you, meaning people, or hopefully it made you realize what was truly important, like the dates and stuff, going on dates, getting dressed up, looking cute, spending money, traveling, doing this, that, and the other. Yeah, that's all well and good and fun, and we enjoy those components of life. But when we look up and it's like, you know what, it's Friday night, that's our date night, that's what we do, and we can't make reservations no more, but we're still here to go on a date. We still have money to go on a date. We still have cars to go on a date. We still have each other. If we can't go on a date, we're still here together. So I think that's what made those conversations just that much more important, because you kind of, you kind of got sucked into the social media world because, again, you're bored, you're in the house, so you can't really do stuff. But again, it also pulled you more into, hopefully, your own real life world. So I think that was the catalyst of a lot of those amazing conversations, like conversations that I'll never forget.
Yeah, deep conversations I'll never forget.
And that's sexy too. That just turns you on to have those kind of conversations.
For me, she's a freak. For me, I think it just sat everybody down. And for some people, it drew them apart, being there together with your spouse. But for us, it just, it went the opposite way. It was the beginning of thoughtful, progressive conversation, being transparent with each other, having to be in each other's face all day. We talked about a whole lot. We talked about life, goals, marriage, our own relationship, what we wanted out of it, what we expected from each other. It was a lot of deep conversations, a lot of meaningful conversations that we hadn't had prior to 2019 BC. So yeah, that was the beginning of what was a new beginning for us. That was the beginning of Act 2. And then we got through 6 weeks. We got through the summer and was chilling. No vacation, no nothing. We just was
no beach.
around.
We didn't go to the beach all summer.
Yeah, we got fat. I previously had lost 50 pounds and gained 15 back. You gained a little bit of weight, just eating 3 meals a day.
How dare you?
What? We did though. We both was eating, 3 meals a day, just sitting in the crib chilling.
Like, they say when you go to college, you gain your freshman 15. I feel like that COVID quarter, like that 25 pounds, like that's my feelings still hurt about that.
That's cool though. I still love you.
I know.
You know that. You're still my baby. But then we get all the way up to June. And then we go into another whole dimension of our life. Because obviously we get into that later, but I had got into trouble earlier in my life. And spent a whole lot of years reckoning with that and dealing with that, and dark places, highs, lows. And then this year, June 5th, it came to a head, and we got some people to help us out, or help me out. I got a person to help me out, and everything worked out and came through. And I feel like, again, this ain't that easy to talk about, but I came through my situation, whatever I was going through. We'll get into that on a different podcast at a different time. But that was the start of what transpired to be our union. How'd you feel about that? What was that like for you?
It was scary, but I was excitedly optimistic, and I know you always say I'm too optimistic about things, but my optimism isn't, it's not derived from being unrealistic or from like a fairy tale world. It's driven by faith. So I felt good that you had finally taken that step, because I knew it would result in so many changes for us, but most importantly, I knew that it would result in mental freedom for you. Like, we know you mentioned dark places in this year's show. I'm not going to move ahead faster than you would like to in having conversations, but we know where some of those dark places had taken you, you know, throughout the last 20 plus years. So for me, I was happy. It's weird because I was happy to know that you would be freed from that. But it was very dark going through that waiting period.
Oh yeah.
So it was like, come on, God, I know you're gonna show up. Like, nothing in me, while I was optimistic, I was prepared for the worst, but nothing in me just believed that it wouldn't work out for the best. But I was just waiting for the best to come, because it was hard for you. And seeing you being in those dark places, and me being optimistic is one thing, but trying to breathe light and hope and love into you, and you being like, stop being so optimistic. Stop.
Because I'm just a realist, and I understood the situation better than you, and what could have happened. That's what it was. What we could have expected.
Yeah, and I understood that.
Obviously, it went well, but it could have went left, and not knowing what to expect. You know, it could have been heavy, real heavy.
And being your partner, it's my responsibility to ensure that I support you no matter what, you know. So while I wanted to support you mentally, I just had to make sure that, I don't know, I just had to make sure that I did my best to keep your spirits up. Because you had to, I mean, had the worst come, the biggest brunt is on you, of course. I had something I had to deal with, but the biggest brunt is on you. So I had to just make sure that I kept you in the best spirits, the best that I could, until we knew, you know, what was to be in the end. But your original questions were, how did that make me feel? Excited, anxious, but I was happy. Like, I just knew, and I was happy for you, because I knew, again, that was a big step for you to take, to even open that door to try to not try, but to take the steps that you did to have it resolved. So I was happy for you. That was like a huge moment of growth for you.
Hell yeah. I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And then so all that gets resolved. I got a new sense of freedom, a newfound freedom. And I got opportunities to do things, you know, that we had always dreamed about doing. And what's one of the first things that we talked about doing?
Getting married.
Wow. Getting married. When did I ask you to marry me?
December 24th, 2002.
2002. And when did we get married?
October 22nd, 2020.
Okay. So that's just out there. Let that lay out there. That's how long this process took of getting the strength, the courage to go through it, to getting the willpower to go through it. But without her, that I wouldn't be able to. There wouldn't even have been a question without being able to. And obviously she was the winning prize at the end of it, is that I get to marry this girl. So what was that like for you? Just knowing, or when did it sink in that we're not going to the courthouse, we're actually getting married and planning a wedding, and we got 6 weeks to do it?
That was...
Like, when did all that sink in?
I don't think all of that sunk in until it was done. Because, like, I've been your wife for all of these years. Like, that... So this, to me, was the formality of saying...
Or what you thought was the formality. Because obviously, in the beginning, you just thought it was a formality. So let's just leave it there. But so yeah, that I just was like, okay, look, we just want to sign a paper. Like, ain't nothing going to change. It is what it is. Like, it, whatever. Like, I'm just doing this to change my name. And then going through even throughout the process, it still was moments where it was like, it took me a moment. I don't want to say it took me a moment to get excited, because I was excited, but more so I was excited about our future, not as much excitement about the wedding, because I just felt like it was just an act and formality. And then it started to hit me, and you know, as we went through the premarital counseling, which was amazing, and just having those conversations about what it really meant, like, and you know, we had made promises to God and kept them for all of these years, and now it was solidifying those promises. So it was really like, I don't know, it's hard to explain, because you said, when did it all sink in? I think at some moments pieces of it is still sinking in. You know, for me it is too. Yeah,
like pieces of it is still sinking in. But when I think about the day, like, literally,
I don't want to know about the day.
Okay,
I want to know how it felt leading up to.
Oh, leading up to it, it was, you
like,
know what?
We decided, okay, because we were going on vacation in 6 weeks, and we were going to say, okay, what do we want to do? Do we just want to go to the courthouse and sign a paper? Or are we actually doing this? It
was organized chaos. That's what I can say. And not even chaos in the process, because like you said, leading up to it, things kind of worked out, you know, good. We had a lot of decisions to make in such a short period of time. But we have an awesome support system. We were introduced to an awesome person. Shout out to Taryn.
Shout out Taryn.
Yeah.
Shout out Akeisha.
Yeah, I was going to say, introduced to Taryn by Akeisha. So their support was invaluable. Our siblings who were part of the ceremony, they made it easy. So it was like those things that you hear people talking about when it comes to weddings. We didn't have some of that stress, because, you know, my sisters was like, it's whatever. Like, whatever you want to do, that's what we're going to do. Whatever you want us to buy, that's what we're going to buy. Your brother was down for whatever, you know. Yeah, so
Shout
it was.
Shout out to my Sheezy. He was there. He was down for whatever.
Yeah, and E and Snoop, it was so that those components were simple. It was the decision making that we had to do. Figuring out the date was the crazy, because we wanted to do it the 26th, but then that wasn't available. Then we, you know, you suggested a Thursday, which I thought was crazy, and then it was like, okay, well, we can't do it Friday, but you wanted to do it like Thursday morning. I mean, which isn't completely insane, but it was like, people got jobs. And then you were like, well,
it was just as insane as doing Thursday night.
But in the end, yes, we realized that. But so those decisions was, you know, some of the hardest parts of it. We knew what we wanted, and that was each other. So however we had to make it happen, it was going to happen. Thank God we were blessed with the finances. Like, so we didn't want to spend $1 million, but we were blessed, you know, to be able to spend whatever we had to do what we wanted to do. So it was like, okay, let's have a budget. We might tiptoe on the other side of that budget a little bit, but I don't think we did. But so those are the pieces that, you know, luckily enough were easy for us. The people that were involved made it easy. The financial part made it easy. It was just the time frame. And in the end, it was us. Now, I won't say us that made it difficult, but us just figuring out things, because when we realized, like, oh crap, like, it's real, like, it's here, like, we need to do this.
That day.
Yeah, like that. Like, those were the pieces that was like figuring out the catering. You know, we knew who we were inviting. So it was so many pieces of the puzzle that had to fit together. But I won't say it was easy. It was organized chaos. And I think the time frame is what made it crazy because we did so much. First of all, we say 6 weeks, but really it was like 3 because it took a moment to finalize the date.
Yeah. And
get the catering like squared away. So we was like wedding superheroes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you played a big part. Like you really like.
I wanted to be involved. I didn't want to be just sitting around. Which was
helpful. You know.
At times you didn't think so, but I didn't want to be just sitting around and just be a checkbook or just be the bank. Like, come, you know, I need this, and then I don't know what's going on. Like we waited 23 years to get married, so I wanted that day to be about us. Like 19. We waited 19 years. Yeah. All right, so I put a little sauce on it. But 19 years to get married, so I wanted that day to be specifically about us. Like everybody don't get that, where your friends, your family show up and for 4 or 6 hours, it's specifically about you. And that's what I wanted for you.
Yeah.
So how was that day?
Amazing.
When it got here?
So as I was saying before, you ever had one of those moments where you feel like everything works out perfect, where it's almost like, not like you're waiting for something to go wrong, but you're thinking like it's going to be a kink somewhere in the pipeline. Like literally nothing went wrong. First of all, from the time I got up to make it to my appointments, which I was on time for, which was
on time for shit.
No, and it was like no traffic. I got there on time. But like the day was just, I don't know, it was weird. Like literally item after and I mean, of course I had all day to get ready, but I mean from the time I got up, makeup, like everything just worked perfectly as we intended. Like when I look back on the day, it was like from my hair to my dress to my makeup to the jewelry to my sisters, and like in the beginning part, and then the music, and then walking down the aisle and seeing you, and like everything, and you looked so freaking awesome.
I did, didn't I?
You did.
I was sharp as shit.
You did.
Goddamn right, I look good.
And I didn't know. You kept me so in the dark about
playing with me about my suit. Crazy, man.
I didn't question you.
Question me about my suit.
I didn't question you. Let me have it. This is our favorite.
Man and Boy Sheezy up there looking tight.
Mentos.
Looking tight.
You think we could get like some kind of advertising deal with Mentos?
Right now, it would be for like $20.
$20 Mentos.
But we can give them 2 minutes for $20.
But yeah, so the day was literally the only moment I was stressing. Once again, it's so weird. You know, I'm not always a punctual person.
You're never a punctual person. Not always. You're never on time.
But when everything was supposed to start and it was late, like I was freaking out. Sorry, sisters. I was like, you need to be walking in the aisle. Like, why are y'all still here? What are they doing? Like, they was like, yo, if you don't calm down, nobody's wedding starts on time. I was like, I don't want my wedding to be one of those that run on CP time. Like, I don't know why I was freaking out like that.
Maybe it was just starting to get to you.
I don't know. I did have you know what? And when they left out the room, and I had like a moment, of course, I said a prayer. And I did I teared up a little bit, but I didn't want to mess up my makeup. So maybe
that's because she was about to marry the boy.
Maybe subconsciously I wanted them to leave me alone for a second.
Just get your thoughts together.
Maybe, I don't know, but I was freaking out on them.
About to happen to you.
I was freaking out on them. And then walking down the aisle, it was like, I don't know, like it just felt like, I can't believe this really happened. Like, this is what people be feeling. But it was awesome.
You feeling?
First of all, it was like all these people watch. I mean, all these people are family, but and you know, it was like people watching me. And I just wanted to get to you. Like, I wanted to be like a little kid, run out there like, baby. Like, all that formality of walking and being graceful. And I just wanted to run up to you like, hey, Zaddy.
He was beautiful. I remember that. He was beautiful. Yeah.
Okay, you. I know this is your show and you're asking all the questions, but can I ask you a question?
Sure.
How was the moment and the experience for you? Like, leading up to it and then the day?
Leading up to it, I was okay. The day of, I was scared. I don't know what it was, but it's the jitters that everybody talk about when you you're about to take a step like that. You're about to get married. So I was scared to death, and I knew that I didn't want to see you. Remember when I came home, I didn't want to look at your face.
Right. And I cried.
And I was like, I promise I won't look at you.
Yeah. I was like, please leave.
And I left. But I rolled up all these blunts, and I went to the venue, and I sat on the bench at the water and just zoned out and just smoked. It was surreal. It was like, wow, I can't believe after 19 years, like, I'm about to marry this girl. Like, it was just surreal. And then I was just watching my brother from across the bench loading the chairs and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, wow, like there's people who actually care about me and people actually here doing stuff for me. So it was a moment of appreciation, just thinking about everybody that was involved, what the prize was. So yeah, that's what that day was like. And then like seeing you come down the aisle, wow. That's just a video I watch at least 3 times a month since we had it. Because it was just like, I've never seen you more beautiful, more sexy in my life. And I've been seeing you since you was a little girl. And it just was like, damn, I get I get her. So that was surreal. And then my brother being up there, that meant a whole lot to me because that's my dude, that's my guy. And for him to show up the way he did and show out and, put forth the effort he did, I couldn't have been more appreciative of that. Our sisters, the way they, was supporting you and then was involved with you, being there for you, just to see that from the outside looking in was like, that's cool that, you had who you wanted there. And I know those two are who you wanted there. So that was cool. And, the vows, Miss Sheila, all that was just awesome. And when it was all said and done and we jumped the broom, like, I don't know, I'm 43 and I've never had a better time in my life. Like, just the dancing, looking around sometime and just seeing everybody smiling genuinely. It was just the coolest shit ever. Yeah, it was the coolest shit ever. I'll never forget it. And it was the coolest shit ever. Just to see people that we love, that genuinely loved us. There was no hate in the room. To look around and everybody was laughing, having fun. And they was doing it because they was representing us and loved us. So that was beautiful to see. Never forget that. So that's what it was like for me.
That's awesome. I'm happy that you were just, I could tell your mental space was just on good. I'm always doing what I call a Jamara check, which is your other name, but I always do a Jamara check and just making sure you're okay, you're all right, you need anything. And that day I felt like And I probably usually do that because looking at your face, I know you, and I can tell when something is bothering you or something is on your mind. And that day, I just knew you were okay. Like, I don't think I asked you at one time, like, you were right. Like, I just knew you were okay. Like, we were, like you said, everything was amazing. And I think because we are so self-sufficient, you know, we've been blessed where we don't have to ask anybody for anything. We don't have to, you know, we've been blessed in that way where we do well, right, and we do for others. That, you know, we don't broadcast our charity and stuff like that we do, but we do a lot for others, and we don't ask anybody for anything. So I think, like you said, seeing the way that people show up for us, your brother, and just being down for whatever, you trying to make him buy $1 million suit, and he was just with whatever, you know. Said my sisters, the bridal shower that they did was just like beyond what I could have thought that it would be. It was just beautiful. So seeing people show up for us and doing things for us was good, because no shade to nobody. Nobody really usually does anything for us because we don't need them to or ask them to. So seeing them do that willingly and seeing people show up and the smiles on their face and them being happy. And again, it's your show. I don't want to like jump the broom or anything, but like seeing the way our kids were like, I know that stamped a memory in their life that they'll carry a lifetime. Like, they had an amazing time. And
I've never seen them have fun like that before.
Yeah, we've taken trips and did all kinds of things with them, and they, you know, they had fun in the pool, but they had an amazing time. So, and
because they never have been to a wedding, and then have it be like their aunt, you know, that they love so much, and be like, wow, like they doing something we never saw before.
Yeah, and even like my sisters, Erica, you know, people like to turn up and all that, but even her saying like how much fun it was like, okay, like, and the kicker was like no alcohol, and people still had fun. I know somebody had a flask, and I won't say her name, but you know, but people still had fun just being their natural selves, loving, enjoying, and just really a room full of love. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. If I could do it all over again, I wouldn't want to, because I wouldn't want to change anything. And
go through the stress again, but it was as best as it could possibly be. Never forget it. It was definitely the best memory I ever had. Was that day. And then following that, you know, life gave us other opportunities to do stuff. And what was next after that?
Puerto Rico, ho! Puerto Rico, ho! How we just bust out this song?
That's some old ass one.
But, okay. So, again, I know this is your show. I have to keep laying it out there. This was your first time on an air... Well, no. Your first time as an adult. Because, like, when you flew from California when you was a kid, you don't really remember that. But this was
like 2 or 3 years old.
Yeah, so you don't remember. But your first time on an airplane as an adult. We've taken lots of vacations, and
16 of them.
They've been road trips, and we've been all up in the East Coast. We stayed in Florida, like in Fort Lauderdale, like we was a resident, like up in the penthouse condo for 2 weeks living there.
Yeah. We
did that a couple times, so we've had amazing vacations. But this was your first time flying. I was afraid because I thought they was gonna cancel our trip because you was gonna pass out on the plane and we was gonna have to go to the emergency room.
I didn't know what to expect, but it's weird being an adult, you know, 43 years old, and never had been nowhere, never flew nowhere. So that was weird. You don't know what the process is, what the, you know, what you're gonna go through. So all of it was new, and it was I was open to it and excited about it. No matter what it took, I was gonna do it. So I to be honest, most people would say they don't like flying, but I enjoyed the process, probably because it went so fast. Like, it wasn't no real holdups, and you know, the people was nice to me, and it was just cool. So I enjoyed it, and never having been nowhere, like, that's one thing people should do is go places, because to see other places other than where you grew up or where you live is extraordinary. Like, exposure is everything. So to go to Puerto Rico, know fucking 6 words of Spanish and just be trying to be out there, like we just out there.
We was
you know,
everywhere.
climbing goddamn mountains. I ain't never been in the clouds. I was in El Yunque in Puerto Rico in the clouds, like the clouds, like not no smoke clouds. So shit was real. Shit was crazy, and it was just a blessing to do that. I would go back 100 times. So that's what being on a plane and you know, that all that was cool for me. All that was, and then we flew first class. You know what I mean? That's how we do. That'll put my baby first class. She ain't never been to Puerto Rico either, but she been on planes before to like Milwaukee and Oklahoma and shit like that.
I've never been to Oklahoma. I've been on a plane quite a few times. Stop trying to always play Milwaukee. Milwaukee was a good time.
Yeah, but to take her to Puerto Rico was like, you know, top shelf. So for us anyway.
I'm flying.
And we got 1,000 more trips to go that we're gonna go to and do
God
the same
willing.
thing. God willing, and ball out because we deserve it, and we feel like we owed that for the work we put in with each other. So that's how I feel about that. So when you touched down in Puerto Rico, what was that like? You never being somewhere?
Yeah, it was.
Never seeing that place before?
I think it was still like, I don't know, it was weird. I'm always worried about you. I'm always, you know, like I said, on the plane, I thought you was about to have a panic attack before we took off. And then, you know, I don't do too well on planes with my motion sickness. It bothers me. So I wanted to sleep. You kept waking me up.
I wanted to talk about the
yes,
trip.
you wanted to be like, oh, look at that cloud over there. Like,
we got 50 minutes left.
I'm sleep. Like, then you like, we about to land. Like, that was the awesome landing. They clapped for the pilot. Like, I missed all of that.
Shit out me.
I missed all of that. I just wanted to sleep. Because I didn't want to feel sick. So we get there. You know what hit me? That it's weird now that I think about it. You know 6 words of Spanish. I know a little more, even though you talk about my Spanish.
It's just textbook, that's all.
I know textbook Spanish, but you know, I can have a conversation. I can read Spanish. But what hit me being there was like, yo, like their native. It was weird being in a place where English was not their first language. Now, I knew that most people would probably be able to speak English, but it made me think about like, what about when we go to Paris or wherever the hell else we go in the world, and like, again, I can understand some Spanish, but I don't know a hint of French other than Je m'appelle Natasha. Something like that. But merci is thank you. But anyway, so it made me think like, okay, be on my P's and Q's, you know, always got to be vigilant, making sure nobody ain't trying to do nothing to us. Be on my P's and Q's because all these people are speaking a different language. So that was one thing. Secondly, I was nervous about COVID because you couldn't get, once you got off the plane and got your baggage, you couldn't get out the airport with having to show proof of your COVID test. You had to like register with their healthcare, their Department of Health. So seeing them in these
had like
those safety suits
cattle
and
shoot
stuff,
rushing people in that didn't have the right credentials.
Yeah. So the potential language barrier, the potential health scare, that was the first things on my mind. Then it was like, okay, let's get to the place. He needed to get his medicine. So
get that medical.
It was like, okay, let's get that. And then it was like, oh, let's just get to the place. And I was just honestly, we hadn't been to the beach all summer. And like, this was different because it was like, okay, we're not just at the Jersey Shore, but I was just ready to get to the beach, getting some sun, getting some water, relax, enjoy, do all the honeymoon and stuff.
We fuck like banshees on honeymoon.
Oh my God! You cannot say that on. You can. Yes.
We live our truths. We fuck like banshees.
No comment.
We fuck.
I will not comment.
Well, she knows.
But we had a good honeymoon time.
Yeah. We
Wink,
fuck
wink.
like banshees.
Wink, wink. We need a hands up, high five for that. Yeah. So I was just ready to just vacation. And to be honest, usually our style of vacation is probably different from others because we really just like to chill. Like we like to go on vacation and we will sleep on the beach. Like we will be on the beach for 8 hours and we done took a 2-hour nap, woke up, had lunch, did some water activities, came back, took another nap, read a book, took some pictures. Like we beach. So this, while in my mind I was ready to do that, we really didn't do a whole lot of beaching, like because I guess we were just excited to be in a different place. We did a lot of exploring. We went to El Yunque, climbed a mountain, which was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
Me too.
Like at some points I wanted to be like, never mind, let's turn around. But then it was like, we've come this far, we can't turn around. It was hard. So it wasn't a typical vacation for us, but I didn't feel like exhausted at the end, but
I felt fulfilled.
Fulfilled, yes, absolutely.
Like we did a whole bunch of shit that we needed to do.
Yeah, we went to the pool a couple times, but that didn't last because every time he would see me and my sexy bathing suits, we would be in the pool.
We fuck like banshees.
For 10 minutes and he would be like, let's go back to the room. It was like, I'm wasting my bathing suits here. Like I just got in the water, took a couple cute pictures and he like, let's go back to the room. So we went, the pool was nice,
The
but
honeymoon, man.
yeah, but that's not just our honeymoon life though. Like,
But no, it's not.
That's
but I'm
not
just saying that was the honeymoon.
yeah, but so yeah, it was amazing. The water, and I'm sure everybody who visits an island for the first time feels this way. Why is the Jersey Shore water so filthy? Like like I said, we beach, and we would go to Jersey Shore, and now I feel like I never want to go again. Like
Jersey Shore water, like getting in soda compared to fucking Puerto Rico.
So
compared to Puerto Rico, it's like getting in soda. It's just two different things.
Yeah, it was weird. No, it wasn't even weird. It was just simply beautiful. It was beautiful. It was relaxing looking at the sky, at the clouds. We even had an episode one night of looking at the stars and wondering, is this star that we see?
Is the one we see back home?
Is that the one that we see growing up in North Philly? It was them damn cookies. That's why we don't eat cookies no more. But it was amazing. It was an amazing time. It was beautiful. It was, I always feel like, and we've talked about this before, like, we can go, I can go anywhere and live with you. We'd be like, yo, you want to move to Nebraska?
Remember I wanted to go to Omaha?
Yeah, like, we can move to Omaha. As long as we together, we can live anywhere.
I wanted to move to Omaha.
And the only place we did not like when we went last year on vacation to Tybee Island, Georgia. I will never go there again. Georgia felt so racist. Yeah. But I know when I feel comfortable in a place because I start, in my mind, daydreaming like, what would it be like to live here? And that's how I started feeling about Puerto Rico. It's like, I can live here with you.
In Puerto Rico, what was that spot called where we all the food stores was? What was that strip called?
I can't remember it, but it was like we gotta think of the name. It was similar to what it was like a food court but outside. I can't think of what the name. Loquios.
Yeah,
Loquios.
Loquios was dope. That had like 50 food stores.
Yeah, literally was like just a strip of restaurants, like, and it was a couple gift shops mixed in here and there, but like literally, and behind it was a beach. But yeah, a strip, and it was nothing fancy smancy at all, but it was authentic Puerto Rican cuisine.
Mofongo. Get on that mofongo.
Yeah.
Go to Puerto Rico, you gotta eat mofongo.
Yeah, that was amazing. It was, we had a
And
great
Little
time.
San Juan, when we went to Little San Juan.
Old San Juan.
Old San Juan. What was the slum they told us don't go to? What was the name?
La Perla.
La Perla.
Yeah, we didn't go. They were like, it's weird because if you've never been to Puerto Rico, Old San Juan is like where these castles and things were. The old cobblestone streets that you see a lot of people post.
Colorful houses.
Yeah, colorful houses and stores. People usually post pictures there. Real small, narrow streets, steep hills and stuff. And it's like all up on this hill. At the bottom of the hill where the beach is, it's a community, a neighborhood. That's La Perla. And it was so weird. The Uber drivers were like, do not go down there. Like whatever you do, don't go down there.
On the YouTube videos, it was dudes walking around with machetes, no shirt and shoes.
It made us want to go. I'm like, I want to
Yeah.
see it. But I'm going to trust the people from the island. If they say don't go down there, I ain't going down there.
We didn't go.
But we was peeking. Like,
Yeah.
you could see the neighborhood. And we were peeking because I was so intrigued. Like, how bad could it really be?
And their backyard is the ocean.
Right. And this
they're-
is the
They
slum.
walk around with no shoes and no shirt and slums in their backyard, literally 10 feet. It's the ocean.
Just thinking about the irony of that, like in our society, you live on the beach. Like those are $1 million homes, multi-million-dollar homes. There,
these were
the
corrugated
slums.
sheds, like real corrugated metal housing. That
Yeah.
was bad. But Little San Juan, Old
Old
San
San
Juan,
Juan.
whatever San Juan it was awesome. Puerto Rico was awesome.
You know what we should have done? We should have bought some stock in Uber. We took so many
We did.
Ubers.
We did. The credit card had mad Ubers on it.
You know what I can say? And this is like kind of tying in one of your questions earlier. The precautions that Puerto Rico took as it relates to COVID-19 were so drastically different from what they do here in the U.S. Like, you couldn't go into, I don't care if it was a mom and pop store that was as wide as my arms.
It had velvet rope across it, roped off, and you had to get your hands sprayed.
And you had to get your
And
temperature
you had to
taken.
get your temperature
Like,
taken.
you could not go
It
in
was
any
mandatory to wear a
establishment,
mask.
no matter how big, how small. You could not go in any establishment anywhere that we visited a lot of places. We went to Walmart in Puerto Rico. You could not go in any establishment without them binging your head to take your temperature, spraying your hands, and some of them had like this like mist thing that you put your hands under, but you had to sanitize your hands and you had to wear masks. And the crazy thing is, even in Walmart, people will think like, oh my God, there's so many people going to Walmart. Nobody complained. You ain't see no arguments. You ain't see no people rah rah rah. You're infringing on my freedoms for wearing a mask.
And it was one way in, one way out. And everybody was cool. Everybody was cool.
Yeah.
Puerto Rico was the shit.
And I don't know what their COVID rates and things are, but I would have to think that that's increasing their or decreasing their death rate and things like that. I don't know. Even when we got in the Uber one time, I got in before you, and you were like, when you went around and you got in, and he was telling me, maybe he thought I spoke Spanish, but he was telling me to tell you to put your mask on. You remember? Like, they ain't play that. Like, you like, don't come near me without a mask.
And we had some dope ass Uber drivers.
Yeah.
You know, we had some knuckleheads, but we had some dope Uber drivers too.
Yeah, the one guy you thought was taking us the wrong way.
That's
he was
when I
like,
started
yo,
putting all directions, like-
my GPS say this. Where are you going? And the guy was like, this is what he had the wrong location in his phone. Meanwhile, he thought the Uber driver was like taking us somewhere to do what to us. Like, he's 6, even though you look short because I always sit up so tall, he's 6'3.5". Not a skinny man. I ain't a small woman at all. Who the hell is kidnapping us and to do what?
Somebody with a gat. Someone got that pull.
What was they gonna do with
us? Then we gonna cooperate. What you talking
but
about?
what they gonna do to us? What they want with
Anything they
us?
want to us when they got the whistle on us. You
What if they held
crazy?
us for ransom?
Who the fuck coming to get us?
Erica and Snoop and Rasheem and Keisha would come
Yeah,
and
that's
get
what
us.
you think. Anyway. that's how Puerto Rico was for us. So that kind of wrapped up our end of the year, leading into Christmas.
Thanksgiving,
and Christmas and all of that. But we got through Thanksgiving. What did we do for Thanksgiving?
Did we have chicken fried rice?
I think we did.
Yeah, because you were exposed by one of your employees. Thank God we were healthy, but we didn't want to take the chance of risking, our families getting sick, so we didn't go around them on Thanksgiving. And then 2 weeks later, we had a big dinner here, and we had the bonfire and my hot chocolate bar was amazing.
So
my hot chocolate bar was amazing.
We did some stuff with the family towards the end of the year, just because we had all year long, and then it led into Christmas. How was your Christmas?
Christmases here are always great. So,
why?
Because you do such a great job at. You do such a great job at like buying me stuff. Like we have a dynamic where you're not a gift giver in the sense of randomly, coming home on a random Tuesday with a new pocketbook or a new pair of shoes or something. But when it's time to give gifts, you show out. Like, you do your thing.
See,
but you go crazy of like stressing yourself, like, oh my god, I don't know.
Because you are hard to buy for.
I'm hard to buy for because I like anything.
What if I bought you some?
Don't say anything that could be like don't say no names or nothing like that. But babe, I like, what I don't like. I don't like watches. I'm just not a watch.
If I bought you a watch?
I would like it because it's like, but I would feel weird. Like, why did you, me.
A chain, a studded out chain with diamonds on it, a cross. And it said love Jesus in the cross.
It depends on what it looks like. That kind of sound cute. Like, what you mean?
Iced out, like.
Oh, you mean like the ones we were talking? So I was saying that
like the rappers wear.
I think it just looks super ridiculous when, people have these big, like, what are you doing with that?
No, what if I bought you the iced out cross?
I would ask if we could, like, return it for something a little smaller.
Wow.
I mean, first of all, where am I going?
Nowhere. I'm just saying. I just bought you an iced out cross.
I would love it.
Why you wouldn't accept a gift and only...
It depends. I don't like you spending $1 million on stuff either. Like, it would depend on how much you paid for it.
But you should accept any gift I get you.
I would accept it, but it would. We accept everything, and then like months later, be like, babe,
I didn't like that.
Can I have a moment of honesty? Like, you remember when you bought me this? It was like, what the hell?
I've had more than you.
So I'm waiting for the moment of honesty after this. How was your Christmas?
My Christmas was awesome. Christmas was great. I like all my gifts.
Okay.
The only weird one was probably a straightening comb for my beard. But other than that, I liked all my gifts. But I like that one too. It's just a little fucking weird.
It's not a straightening comb. It's
a straightening brush.
I never seen that before. I just thought
like a hot brush, not a hot comb.
Yeah.
But it's cool.
I thought that was something so unique.
Yeah. But that's how our year, that's how we view our 2020 in this house. And it was the best year we ever had. It was, we was on one of the best rides of our life. And now we coming into 2021 and we welcome it. We honored to make it for another year. Blessed to be here. We think we highly favored. We motivated. So we just wanted to, have a conversation about what this year was like. In these podcasts to come, it's going to be lots of conversations about everything. Comedy, some drama in there. We're going to talk about everything under the sun. Some days we might contradict ourselves because obviously, you learn and you grow. So one day you might hear me say something about the way I feel about this. And then next week, after finding out more information, I feel a different way or she feel a different way. So I'm just going to hear all kinds of conversations, all kinds of views about everything, and that's just what it is. You got something to say?
I would like to say thank you for having me as a guest on your show today.
Sure.
I will appreciate any time that you invite me to be a guest. I'm always willing to have some good conversation with you. Secondly, I would like to say I'm very proud of you. I know that this has been something that's been on your heart to do for a while, and I support you in whatever it is, any efforts that you have. You know, I'm the executive producer, the business manager, the social media content coordinator.
She's all those things.
all of my titles that I've given myself.
She's all those things.
But all jokes aside, I'm really proud of you. You know, for those people who know you, and we have a very small circle in our life of people who are close to us, who have known your story before this podcast. And it's, you know, one of our people that we love, she was like, he don't even talk. Like, why? How is he doing a podcast? And one thing that I'm excited about is people really getting, not that I care about what anybody thinks, but people getting to know you, because you're so multifaceted. And I think even through this transition in your life, in this Act 2, you're still growing and learning and becoming who you truly were meant to be. And I'm grateful that you have this second chance, that we have this second chance, and I'm honored to be your wife, and I look forward to all of the things that are to come. Third thing I want to say, I know that 2020 was amazing for us. I realized that that was not the truth for everybody. So on behalf of my husband and I, we would like to extend our heartfelt love, sympathy, prayers for those who experienced a hard time, because we know everybody's story, you know, for 2020. Our story isn't relatable to everyone for 2020, because there were, you know, there was some loss, there was some heartache, there was a lot of things that didn't go right, that were negatively impacted. So, you know, those who we may not know their personal stories, you know, we pray for them. Last thing I want to say, we lost a very special person to us in 2020, my Aunt Carol. And, you know, that was one of my grandma's sisters. We were both very close to her. Again, we have a small circle that we're close to. And she was one person in my family. She was my mom's aunt, who she loved him so much. She would call me and be like, hey, how you doing? Where your husband? And just wanted to, you know, take a moment to recognize her. We truly miss and love her, and I know that she would be so proud of us and you.
We think about her a lot. I know I do every so often. I might not express that to you, but I think about Carolyn Kane a lot. And I was always just touched by how she opened her arms up to me, even when your other aunt didn't. So this, you know, we're gonna wrap this up. Podcast coming once a week. They'll be better. We'll get better. If you fuck with us, fuck with us. If you don't, you don't. Peace.